is unique. Take me, for example. I've had two precious babies, but my experience with both were very different. With my first, I went into labor at 39 weeks, no complications, and was in labor for 7 hours. But with my second, I went into labor at 34 weeks, had to be put on medication to stop it for 2 weeks, and then labor started again at 36 weeks, and I was in labor for 9 hours. Now, although both babies were born healthy, you can see that my labor and delivery experiences were very different. There's different signs to labor, different medications you can take for pain relief, different ways they will monitor your baby, and those things will take place during the 3 stages of labor. Some signs you may or may not experience are lightning, which is the baby's head descending down into the pelvis, loss of mucus plug, amniotic sac rupturing or water breaking, and finally as contractions begin to occur less than 10 minutes apart consistently. Once you experience some of those signs, you will enter the 3 stages of labor. Stage 1 is the longest stage during the labor process. During this stage, the cervix begins to thin out, known as effacement and dilation. This stage is also broken into 3 different phases: the latent phase, the active phase, and the transition phase. During the latent phase, the cervix will dilate 3 to 4 centimeters. This is the phase that women are typically admitted into the hospital. Next comes the active phase, which begins once the cervix is dilated about 7 centimeters and contractions become more intense. And lastly, we have the transition phase, where the cervix is completely dilated the full 10 centimeters and contractions become very strong and last anywhere from 60 to 90 seconds and occur every 3 to 4 minutes. Then we enter stage 2, known as the pushing stage. Basically, in the stage 2, the baby is traveling through the birth canal and then delivered. The head is typically delivered first, followed by the shoulders and body. Once the baby has been delivered, you will then enter stage 3, where the placenta and other fetal membranes are expelled, known as afterbirth. This stage usually only takes 5 to 10 minutes to complete, but can take up to 30. During these 3 stages of labor, your contractions will become very strong and intense. Some women choose to have medications for pain control. Several different medications can be used for that very reason, such as injectable mepridine, Protanol, or morphine, or regional anesthesia. Regional anesthesia is administered as a epidural, spinal, or combined as a spinal epidural block. Also, while you're in labor, nurses or your healthcare provider will be monitoring your baby to prevent or stop things from going wrong. During the first stage, you will most likely have pelvic examinations to check the dilation of the cervix, and they will also use one of the 2 types of fetal monitoring, external or internal. This will be determined by your healthcare provider. External fetal monitoring is done by placing the transducer on the mother's abdominal wall. The transducer detects the fetal heart rate and displays it on a visual tracing. Internal fetal monitoring is also used to detect the fetal heart rate, but this method is a small electrode passed through the cervix and attached to the fetal scalp. While you're probably very nervous about how your labor and delivery experience will pan out, I hope this information will put your mind at ease just a little bit. Labor and delivery is very unique and very unpredictable, but it is a beautiful thing.